I went swimming last summer for the first time in years. I was so proud of how happy I felt in my new swimsuit that I took a selfie and posted it on Tumblr. The next morning, I had an anonymous message waiting for me. You have one of the worst bodies I have ever seen. You're just a giant mushy blob. As someone who swims 6 days a week, seeing people like you in the pool puts me off food and makes me swim twice as much. You are truly disgusting to look at. And before you blame a medical condition of some sort, you don't get that huge without seriously overeating, so don't kid yourself. My response was something along the lines of, LOL, and yeah, I do eat a lot. Food is delicious. Food is delicious.
We are going to take a trip down the left anterior descending coronary artery of a man of 58 who suddenly dropped dead from ischemic heart disease. If we go yet further down, we now get into high-grade stenosis. You can see the vessel lumen here is much reduced in size. It's reduced in size by the presence of this rather large plaque over here, and it contains a fair amount of lipid. The lipid is beginning to get rather sort of crumbly, and you can see that it's beginning to break up at that point.
But because I'm supposed to be an inspiration, maybe not to the masses, but to a few, those few who have commented, emailed, messaged, told me that I inspired them to love their bodies, they're important to me. I don't want them to know that I still have days where I think my life would be better if I was skinny. I don't want them to know about those nights where I still cry because I feel disgusting. I want to be a beacon, not a disappointment. But those days do happen, and the messages keep coming, so I've had to learn how to fight back. Ignore them, be flippant, turn it into an opportunity for activism. My favorite part of this lovely message is where they said, before you blame a medical condition. They have anticipated this excuse because I am not unique in being the object of their disgust. I am not special. I am the 5th, 10th, 42nd, 100th fat person at which they have spit their hatred. Fat people who, let me remind you, have done nothing more than post pictures of themselves in all their fat glory and said, hey, I look good. And don't you dare think this anonymous piece of shit is unique. Any fat person who loves themselves loudly, verbally, textually, visually, has stories of abuse, oppression, and violence to fill their own library of Alexandria, and we know how it feels to be burned to the ground. That is why being fat and standing up and saying, I don't hate myself, is a revolutionary act. Being fat and wearing bright colors and tight clothes and horizontal stripes is a revolutionary act. Is a revolutionary act.
The hardline leadership of Nicolae Ceausescu, who had gunned down his own people to stay in power, finally folded.
Is a revolutionary act.
After weeks of scenes like these across the country, resulting in dozens dead, it appears to be the end for Tunisia's president after 23 years in power.
This is a revolutionary act. Getting big, colorful tattoos of fat mermaids on our fat thighs is a revolutionary act. Because here's the thing. Being fat is having to exist in a world that doesn't want me. Flying is one of the most nerve-wracking experiences I've ever had, not because the plane might crash,
Allahu Akbar,
because I might get on it and find out last minute that I can't fit in the seat, and then oops, sorry, better scrounge up the money for another ticket or wave my flight goodbye. I'm going to college, working to get this education that my generation was promised would make our lives better, but you try concentrating on literary theory when the arms of your chair are digging into your thighs hard enough to bruise. Shopping with friends? Forget it. Maybe one store in a mall will carry clothes that fit me. If I'm lucky, those clothes will be something resembling cute. If I'm very lucky, one other store will carry plus sizes. Online only, of course. They can't have fatties in their store. Being fat is knowing that this man-made world isn't made for me, but I have to live in it. If anything actually does acknowledge that I exist and deserve representation, it gets accused of promoting obesity. Because there are definitely little kids out there saying, I want to be fat when I grow up, if they see a cool fat character on TV. And the fat little kids who grow into eating disorders because they never see someone like them portrayed positively in a book, in a movie, well, at least that eating disorder will make them skinny, right? Whenever I get a crush on a guy, because we do have hearts beneath all this fat,
Deposits build up on the inner walls, narrowing the tube. The heart has to work harder to pump blood through the restricted vessels.
it doesn't matter how well we get along. It doesn't matter if I think he's flirting with me. I'm crippled by the voice in my head saying he's probably not into fat chicks. Of course, a lot of guys are into fat chicks. It's a fine line between someone who has the revolutionary thought that I'm attractive and being flat out fetishized, but there are some good ones out there. I get dates, but on the first date, I almost always order a salad when I want a steak and water when I want Dr. Pepper, as if that will make him think I'm one of the good fatties. You know, one of the ones who's going to lose all of that unsightly weight.
We've all discussed with her our feelings on the matter, but in the end, she's my family, she's my sister, and I love her. If what she does makes her happy, then I'm happy. As long as she does it safely, I'm happy.
How do you do it safely?
She's healthier than I am.
No, she's not.
Actually,
no, she's
she
not.
is.
Unless you're in stage 4 cancer, she is not
I've
healthier
had a
than you are.
history of heart problems.
Oh my God, I can't believe what you just said. She now told me you have a family history of heart disease. So everything I just told you, it's worse.
She eats healthier than I do.
No, she doesn't.
I take her grocery shopping, and the cart is loaded full of fruits and vegetables.
She told us what she had to eat the day that we did the pre-interview with her. She's healthier than you? Then you need to stay here when she leaves, because we're going to put you in the insane asylum. 7 a.m., 4 or 5 donuts while she's cooking breakfast. What did she have for breakfast? A 7-egg omelet with a 1.5 cups of cheese, full bell pepper, a full onion, and a full package of ham in it. Then she ate 4 or 5 potatoes that she made into hash browns with another full pepper and onion. And that held her for 45 minutes. And then she had 4 corn dogs dipped in nacho cheese and a full-size bag of potato chips. And you're right, she had a couple of strawberries. You got to get that fruit in there, right? Mm-hmm. Now she had 3 sandwiches with ham, cheese, mayo, tomato, cucumber, avocados, croutons, bacon bits, and ranch dressing. And she said, this is where I get my vegetables. Now we get to lunch. She has a large pepperoni pizza. Then at 1 o'clock, she has snack number 3, 2 bowls of ice cream with caramel and whipped cream. And then she has a hand-sized bag of M&Ms. Then at 2, she had 2 bacon cheeseburgers, a box of mac and cheese, and 3 bananas. At 3 o'clock, she had 6 avocados made into guacamole and a full-size bag of tortilla chips. For dinner, she had 10 fish tacos with rice and beans. Then she had a whole box of honey buns, a whole box of Hot Pocket loaded potatoes. Then at 10, a bag of pepperoni, and along the way, she drank a gallon of sweet tea and 6 candy bars. She eats better than you?
That's where we'll find Nikki McRoberts, who is obsessed with gaining weight. And she won't stop until she's 600 pounds.
When I weigh myself, I'm usually pretty anxious.
So it says 363.5, and I'm really happy about that because I gained.
My goal is somewhere between 500 to 600 pounds.
27-year-old Nikki McRoberts calls herself the gaining goddess. In the past year, she has almost doubled her weight, and despite doctors' warnings, she wants to gain close to 250 more pounds. To reach her goal, Nikki has designed a special diet focused mainly on junk food.
We've got M&Ms, chips, bits and bites, more chips.
Nikki forces herself to eat non-stop.
When she eats breakfast, she might eat a bag of chips before she has a bowl of cereal.
And has to consume up to 14,000 calories a day.
When I see how much she can consume now, it puts me in awe at times.
I feel full. Every month, I usually measure myself to see how much I've grown.
Nikki hopes to one day have a 7.5-foot rear end and a 6.5-foot waistline.
Okay, so it looks like 22 inches. That's good because it's 1 inch up from last month.
We're at 39 inches.
What? That's impossible.
That means I lost like 20 inches in the past. Are you going from the right side?
I mean, I don't know. When she hasn't gained any weight, she is kind of depressed or hard on herself. And, that's when I come in, I'm supportive, and it's like, it's okay, honey.
To guarantee that she keeps packing on the pounds, Nikki drinks a 3,500 calorie shake twice a day.
I use these shakes to add extra calories to my daily intake. Shakes usually are made up of 35% cream, 18% cream, chocolate syrup.
They do taste really delicious. I could drink them every day, but I don't.
I usually drink it before bed because that's usually when, you're the least active.
This year alone, Nikki has spent $5,000 on new clothing because every month she outgrows her wardrobe.
I like to dress a little bit more provocatively and sexy because that's how I feel.
The heavier Nikki gets, the skimpier her clothing.
There are thin girls that won't wear the clothing that she does.
This is my very first bikini I just bought this year.
A white bikini.
As you can see, it's very sexy.
Too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt. So sexy it hurts.
In my new body, I feel extremely beautiful, sexy. I feel more confident. I feel like I'm becoming a woman.
Here's the 600 pounds, baby.
At the rate she's going, Nikki will reach her goal of 600 pounds in just...
How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes, got nowhere to run. The night goes on as I'm fading away.
I feel like the Titanic.
Hey, that was rather negative.
Well, before it sank.